If you want to add more height to the front end of your 2011 to 2022 four-wheel drive F-250 or F-350 Super Duty the effective and affordable way, then this 3-inch front leveling kit with shock extenders is going to be just the right ticket for you. Featuring solid construction and a really great price, this is going to give you the height you're after and you won't have to spend a bundle to get it. As always, we'll start out with the most important part of any lift or leveling kit, the thing that you all want to know. This is going to give you 3 inches of additional height in the front end of your Super Duty, so that means that you can fit up to 35-inch tires with this kit installed. As there's not a radius arm bracket included in this kit, you're not going to be able to fit 37s without additional modifications, so for this application, we recommend sticking with 35-inch tires. Now, the kit here is very simple, and it consists of 2 main components. First are going to be these spring spacers, which are going to give you that additional height. They slip right into your spring's mounting points and effectively just make them taller. And the other component here are the shock extenders. Now, these attach to the bottom of your front shock absorbers to make them taller as well and help accommodate that additional height. What this means is that since you're not changing the springs and you're not changing the shocks, you're just basically going to get more height and stock ride quality. So your truck will drive very much like it did originally, but it will sit 3 inches higher in the front end than it did originally. So there's going to be no forward rake, and the truck will sit pretty evenly front to back. Now, that also means more ground clearance for you and more room for those larger wheels and tires, so if you do plan to take your truck off-road at all, you'll have a little bit more clearance to get over some tougher obstacles. Both the spring and shock spacers are made from carbon steel, and they're finished off with this nice black powder coat for additional protection against rust and corrosion. Now, these things are pretty solid, and the powder coating is pretty nice as well. They should last you a good long while as long as you look after them. You also get the new harbor that you need included in the kit too, so it is a rather complete package. Pricing comes in at about $100, making this a really affordable way to get that additional height you're after. So if you want something that's going to be effective and economical, this is going to tick both of those boxes, give you the height and the stance that you're looking for out of your truck. And hey, I love anything that comes in at $100 or less, especially if it makes a functional improvement like this does. Installation gets a 2 out of 3 on our difficulty meter, and expect the job to take you around 3 hours to complete. Now, everything here is designed to bolt right into place without the need for other modifications, but it is going to take you some time to get it all installed. Also, as I always say, since you are lifting the front end of your truck, keep in mind that you will need to adjust your track bar at a minimum or get a proper professional alignment once you've got everything installed here. We're going to walk you through the installation process though right now, so for that, let's head on out to the shop.
For this install, you will need various impacts, various ratchets or breaker bar, 3/8 1/2-inch adapter if necessary, 13, 15, 18, and 22 millimeter sockets, 21 millimeter wrench, a clip removal tool, and also not shown here is a jack and jack stands. What's up guys, today we're going to be doing a leveling kit on our F-250, but before we get started, we're going to send you to watch a quick video on how to remove your factory setup, and we'll see you when you get back.
First thing we're going to do is make sure we have our truck secure and safe. I jacked it up. We have it on a lift right now, but I do have a jack underneath the center of the rear, which you're going to need to do after you get it jacked up and supported, however you're doing that. If you're doing this in your driveway, you're going to want to use jack stands. So what I did was I have it on the lift here. I have a jack under the center of the rear to hold the rear up, because we're going to be loosening the suspension up so we can drop the rear down so we can remove our coil springs. So you want to just make sure you jack it up high enough when you put your jack stands under. That way you can get your jack in the center of the rear. And then we'll start removing our suspension here. We'll start by removing our brake hose, our shock, our sway bar, and then we'll be able to take our jack and start lowering the rear down. So let's jump into this and we'll start removing our upper bracket here for our brake hose. So first thing we're going to do is remove this 13 millimeter bolt here. I'm going to take my 3/8 gun with my 13 millimeter socket, remove this bolt right here. And once we get that bolt out and removed, we'll be able to drop the brake hose down. And you're going to want to repeat this same procedure on the other side, because it's going to allow us that both sides are going to have to be undone so that we can drop the rear out. So now we're going to remove our shock bolt right down here. I'm going to take a breaker bar with an 18 millimeter socket and break this loose. It is on there pretty tight. And once I get it loose, I will take my 3/8 gun with my 18 millimeter on, get in place. and then I'll ratchet this the rest of the way out. I'm gonna take my 1/2-inch drive now with my 18mm on it and just ratchet this out the rest of the way. So now we have that out. You're going to want to repeat that procedure on the other side too. And now we'll go up to our sway bar. So now we're going to remove our sway bar nuts right here. There's one here and then one right here. I'm going to take my 15mm, my 3/8 gun, loosen these up, then loosen the other side up, then we'll drop the sway bar down. So now you're going to want to repeat that on the opposite side. So now I have the other side disconnected too. I'm just going to pull our sway bar down. You're going to want to be careful. This thing can be a little bit heavy, but it should just fall down just like that, which will allow our rear to drop down then. So now we're going to take our clip removal tool. We're going to pop off this clip here. This is going to allow the rear to hang down. It's kind of pulling tight on this already. So I'm just going to pop this off. Pretty much like that. Get that out of the way. And then our vent tube on our rear here, I'm just going to twist and pull up. And remove that. That will allow our rear to hang down when we start letting the jack down. So now we have everything disconnected, our shock, our front sway bar links on both sides. I have my shock removed on that side. I unhooked our connectors here for our vent tube. Our brake lines are disconnected. We're going to be able to take our jack and just start lowering the rear down. That's going to loosen up these springs and let these springs come out, and then we'll remove our springs. So now we have our rear drop down. We're going to be able to easily grab our spring, pick it up, and remove it right out of the location. So now I have our coil spring removed. We're just going to look at our pad down here and notice that there is a notch right here where my finger is. This notch is where when we put the coil spring back in, you're going to want to make sure that the bottom of the coil rests down inside here, so that you don't want to have it spun around, because it is meant to seat in here so it doesn't spin. So just make sure when you put it back together, you put the bottom of the coil right into there. You'll see it fits right into that slot. So now we're going to remove our bump stop. I'm going to get up in here with a screwdriver, pry this baby out, like so. Now we're going to remove our cup that holds the bump stop in. I'm going to take my 10mm on my 3/8 gun, get up inside here. There's a nut, or a bolt I should say, right here. We're going to remove that. Now you're going to want to just repeat this uninstall procedure on the other side.
Alrighty guys, now that we have our stock setup off, it's time to start going on with our new kit. The first thing we're going to install is going to be our shock extenders. So these are going to mount to our factory shock. We're going to need to turn that 90 degrees so this new lower mount will line up with our factory perch. So we've got our provided bolt, flat washer, and lock nut. So we'll come over to our shock and get this installed. Alright, so now we'll move our shock. Get our bracket lined up, get our bolt and flat washer through. Might be a little bit fussy going through at first, that's okay. Just get that through, get our lock nut on the back. Also turn this at our 90-degree angle. Now we're not going to tighten these just yet, because we want to get everything mounted back up before we tighten these to ensure our bushing isn't damaged in the process. Now once you've got this side loosely installed onto your shock, you can do the same thing for the other side, and we'll come back and install our spacers with our factory springs. Alright, so what we're going to do is grab our spacer, and we're also going to grab our factory isolator. We're going to set that onto our spacer first. Then we're going to hold this up in position on the factory perch. It makes it a lot easier to get your spring in. So get this on, get your spring up. Get it onto your bottom perch. I'll bring this in. And once you have this on, you can rotate your isolator to line back up with your upper coil. Make sure your bottom coil sits where it's supposed to. Once you have it to this point, you can do the same thing for the other side. Then we're going to begin jacking up our differential in order to capture our springs, and we can reattach our shocks. All right, so we've got our differential jacked up enough to capture our spring. Everything is sitting in place how we want. We're going to reattach our sway bar brackets first. That's going to kind of help hold our differential up, and then we'll move forward with our shocks. So we'll get our sway bar back in place. Get that through enough to get our nuts back on. Get both of them on this side. Once you have your first side loosely in place, you can do the same thing for the other side, and we'll come back and tighten them up. Now we've got both sides of our sway bar bracket back in place. We're going to tighten them down, again using our 15 mil socket. And once you have this side tight, you want to do the same thing for the other side. Next, we're going to get our brake line brackets back in place. So line these back up. Get our 13 millimeter bolts back in. And we'll tighten these back down with our 13 mil socket. And we can do the same thing on the other side. All right guys, so as far as this cable with the clip, you're going to want to leave that loose because as you can see at full droop, you don't really have the stretch to clip that back in, which it's totally fine sitting how it is. And you also want to reconnect your vent tube for your differential if you did disconnect that. If you have this top clip out, it's actually really good for travel on this. And then what we're going to do for our shocks is, because of how much more length we have on our spring and our spacer here, we're going to put the wheels back on. We're going to bring the truck down because once we start jacking the differential up too much, it's going to start lifting the vehicle up off of our lift posts or your jack stands at home, which can be potentially dangerous. So for the safest way possible, we'll throw the wheels back on, lower it down enough to line up our shock mounts, get the bolts back through, and then we'll tighten everything back down. All right guys, so now we're going to get our factory shock bolt into our factory perch, so we'll line this up. We've got our truck lowered. Actually might need to compress our shock, which you can do by hand. Once you get that through, you actually want to back it out a hair. Get your catch nut on. We're going to take our 18 millimeter socket on our ratchet, put this bolt in. Watch your fingers on the flag nut. Tighten it down. Okay. Now we're going to tighten down our extension bolt with our 22 millimeter socket on our impact and a 21 millimeter wrench. Alrighty folks, that about wraps up our review and install of our 3-inch front leveling kit with shock extenders for your 11 to 22 4-wheel drive F-250 Super Duty. Thanks for watching, and as always, for everything F-250, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.